Because you know, when everybody came over there to fix on the house, man, I want to know who's who, what you doing, you know, and I know.
I say this is our neighbor.
Is Sherman here?
Yeah, he a nice guy though. He really is.
Yeah, you know, I'm having to show him the ropes as I see, and he's a young guy.
Yeah.
I think he's a manager of a taco bell, something like that.
That's what he said.
And I rake the beans for him and help him get his garbage cans and
Right.
that kind of stuff.
So these are the revised minutes?
Show me who's read, the ones that are written and unwritten.
Right. Hey, we gotta give them both sides.
These two were given to Tom Hood to take a look at to see if he can save us. We gave him some directions, maybe save some cash before we sign the contract, sort of get the low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
So we're not going to, you're walking
Just,
to the
just don't make a motion.
Yeah, let it die. This is the health agreement, you know about that.
Right.
You know, every year we do that. Business license, the 3 firefighters, the 2 facade programs, True Value and Miss Kim. And
Now, you know, one of them, the True Value, it says on the application that was attached that it doesn't show what they're going to do, or, you know, I mean, it says see attached, but there was nothing attached.
okay, let me
I mean,
look.
we had the application, but the application didn't include that.
Let me ask Dave.
Okay.
See what came in.
What they're doing and how much and all that.
I'll definitely take a look at that if we don't, because that came in late to us. The next 3 are the rollover bonds.
Yep.
This is this Distinction TV about, you know about that.
Got a lot of stuff going on, Kim.
The next 3 are the squad,
Right.
the retrofitting the squad, and then a videotape or camera.
Yeah.
And then the last 3 relate to this development agreement. We're tabling it, but we want to talk after the meeting. I want to talk to each one of you quickly about it. In between the executive session or right after the executive session. So we prefer to table it tonight.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I never.
All right.
Yeah, thank
But the other dude said she was not for the
Kim, more like we
No, the tall girl that was sitting there.
Oh, no. So Pancho's girl. Yeah. Pancho's girl.
Who was this from here? Who was that?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me apologize to everybody for running a few minutes late myself. Let the record reflect that according to the clock back there, we're going to be starting the regularly scheduled business meeting in the village of Broadview at 7:35, about 5 minutes late to the scheduled time. So if you have a cell phone or any kind of electronic devices, please either turn them off or turn them on vibrate so as not to disturb the proceedings of the meeting. And we're going to move forward from this point. Mr. Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham.
Here.
Trustee Benson.
Present.
Trustee Turner.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here.
Trustee McGuire.
Here.
Trustee Morris.
Here.
Trustee Brown Marina.
Here.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take a moment of silence. Next item on the agenda is swearing-in ceremony for Thomas Flannery to the position of firefighter for the village of Broadview.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Thomas Flannery,
I, Thomas Flannery,
having been appointed to the office of fireman
have been appointed to the office of fireman
in the fire department of the village of Broadview,
for the fire department of the village of Broadview,
in the county of Cook,
the county of Cook,
in the state of Illinois,
and the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of fireman
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the officer of firefighter
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. There you go. Congratulations. All right. Tom, he's waiting.
Congratulations, welcome.
Congratulations, Will. Thank you all, commissioners. That's it for now, fellas. It's now on the agenda. You got it, Ron? It's not on here yet. You're gonna have to go on to the next, have a seat, please. You're gonna have to go to the next agenda item, Garner.
Next item on the agenda is public comment.
Ms. Marquita Smith.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
First, I'd like to thank you for listening to our request about having the agenda. It does make a big difference. And the other question I have is, we still are not seeing the video from the budget hearing. We do have, was able to download the budget, but I would like to see what was discussed at the meeting. So if we can get that done, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
And I have one more request. Trustee McGreer,
Yes, ma'am.
as an honor to the board and the citizens, can you please remove your cap?
No, ma'am.
Yes. I'm professional.
Thank you.
You can't.
No.
That's worse.
John Holden.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Holden, Captain Stanton Fire Department, and a resident at 31 Falls 24th. I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the mayor, the trustees, and the residents that, under the direction of the fire chief, Chief Gardner, I have applied for a charter with the Boy Scouts of America to start a explorers troop at the firehouse. We are going to be getting this up and running over the next few weeks. If anyone has any questions on what the Explorers program is, They're welcome to call me at the firehouse at any time. There's a stack of these documents describing what Explorers program is on the back table there. A little quick synopsis for boys and girls ages 14 to 20. And it is the next level of scouting, or if you've never been in scouting, this is a great way to get involved. And what it does is it provides a professional experience, usually at a service-oriented field like a police or fire station, for kids to come and learn what it's like to do that type of job. We are hoping to recruit children, young men and women of Broadview, ages 14 to 20, to be part of this program. We'll be meeting regularly at the firehouse, and they'll be learning what we do for a living over there. If anyone has any questions, feel free to catch me outside or call the firehouse.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holden.
Thank you.
Ms. Lily Yancey.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Two things. I got an email from the governor's newsletter today, and it talked about a low-cost loan for the villages to for replacement of the water mains and the piping. And I don't know if you have this information, but this is who has to be contacted about it. Okay? The other thing is, if you don't like us in here for this meeting, you know, you turn the heat up a little bit. Thank you.
With all the hot air around here, we'll need a whole lot of heat. Okay, thank you, Ms. Yancey. Ms. Joreen Gordon.
First of all, I just want to comment about the startup of the Explorer Troop. I think that's fantastic. I'm currently a lifetime Girl Scout member, and I was active in the Boy Scouts many moons ago. But I think it's a great program. It's terrific for all children, and I hope that everybody here goes and spreads the word in your neighborhoods, because it's great. I also want to compliment the Attorney's Office at the last meeting, and I hope that the Attorney this time does the same thing, that keep the trustees on track and on their committee reports to make sure that the committee reports are committee reports. When they did that last meeting, it made for a more concise meeting, a meeting that was more directly related to the business at hand, and it was very much appreciated by everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. That concludes the public comments. I'll entertain a motion to suspend the regular board meeting at this time for purposes of a promotional operation for the police department. Just so that everyone knows, there was an oversight on tonight's agenda. Apparently, this was approved in my absence in the last board meeting for this particular promotion. So, if I can get a motion to suspend the regular board meeting for a few minutes to allow him to do his.
I make a motion that we suspend the regular board meeting for the police promotion.
Second.
It's probably motion by Trustee Turner, probably second by Trustee Abraham. All in favor of the suspension?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, the regular board meeting is now suspended, and we're going to go on and allow the chief and the commissioners to take their necessary actions.
Control Nate.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Michael Layton, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the State of Illinois, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservations or purpose of evasion. One more time. Without any mental reservations or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of sergeant of the village of Broadview, state of Illinois, county of Cook, to the best of my ability. Congratulations, Sergeant. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just hired you yesterday.
I know, right? Couldn't have it to a better officer, huh? Well, it wasn't. Okay, that having been done, I'll entertain a motion to reconvene the regular board meeting, resume the regular board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Morris and second by Abraham, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, we're going to go back to the regular agenda as printed on your agendas for tonight, and we're going to go on to the next agenda item. Mr. Clerk.
Consideration to approve the following minutes, September 16, 2013.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, probably motion by trustee McGreer, probably second by trustee Morris. Can I get a report from the finance committee?
For the minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, for the minute. I'm thinking about finance. Do I have any questions or comments on the minutes starting with trustee Brown Marino?
No.
Trustee Moore?
No.
Trustee McGreer? No. Trustee Turner? Trustee Benson? Trustee Abraham? None. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, the minutes are passed from September 16th.
Next item on the agenda is item number 4, consideration to approve expenditures, grand total funds, $612,905.72.
Make a motion to approve.
Second? Probably motion by trustee Abraham and probably second by trustee McGreer to approve the expenditures. May I have a report from finance on this one?
Yes, larger bills. Mr. Clerk, give a grand total of $612,905.72.
Right, this total.
My warrant list has a different amount.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I'm reading the correct warrant list. If there was a...
You got the warrant list from October 2nd?
Mine says 6/12.
Mine says 6/12/214.
Oh, wait. But he just...
But it is different though. The total different.
He's got grand total funds on our minutes.
Look.
He just says 612.
He said,
He just said
and it's
612,905.
214.
So the actual amount is...
612,905.72.
That's okay.
You got 612,905 on your agenda, and you got 612,214 reflected on the warrant list. You got two different numbers.
We could change one. Do we know which one is correct?
Well, the warrant list is going to be the correct one, because it's going to be generated by what we paid.
So the agenda needs to be
What's out
adjusted.
to be paid.
We just have to make a motion to create the correct...
Where'd you get this number from, Don?
That, it actually came from,
Yeah, do this, man. It might just been an oversight.
that was transposed at should be $612,214 each.
Okay, so this would be a scrivener's error.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
Okay, trustee Abraham.
Okay. For warrant list, AT&T, $9,568.81. Blue Cross Blue Shield, $115,227.04. Broadview Fire Pension, $21,944.70. Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency, $132,155.83. Bush Lawn Service, $3,165. Climate Temp Service Group, $3,122. Colleen K. Grant, $2,575.25. Edwin Hancock Engineering, $74,676.75. Forest Avenue Properties, $5,500. Geno's Heating and Plumbing, $10,333. Group Industries, $11,071.18. Guardian Life, $7,022.77. Health Endeavors, $3,000. Illinois Municipal League Risk Management, $103,298.93. Jeffrey Gustafson, $2,800.
Kelly's Truck Center, $6,930. The law offices of Philip Fornero, $4,622.08. MFA Construction, $7,916.68. Michael R. Connolly, $4,175. Miguel Rivas, $6,000. North American Salt, $17,808. Ozinga Ready Mix Concrete, $6,897. Heston Associates, $2,322.50. The subtotal of all vendors over 2,500 is $562,132.52 for total expenditures of $612,214.08 for a percent of 92%.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Abraham. Comments on the current warrant list, starting with Trustee Marino.
I have none.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGrier? None. Trustee Turner?
None.
Trustee Benson? And Trustee Abraham?
None.
Okay, hearing no questions or comments on these, Mr. Clerk, may I have a roll call on the approval?
Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Benson.
Yes.
Trustee Turner.
Yes.
Trustee McGrier.
Yes.
Trustee Morris.
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino.
Yes.
And that motion carries unanimously to play the bill. Mr. Clerk, we can go to the next agenda item.
Item number 5, reports from village officers. Reports are given the second meeting of the month, which brings us to item number 6, communications. 3 communications. The Progressive Center, Progressive Center is an independent living, is a nonprofit, non-residential service of advocacy for organization for assisting people with disabilities to live more independently. They have the Progressive Center will have an annual Liberty Celebration Dinner on Friday, October 25th, 2013. This event will be held at Casa Jalisco, located at 1600 West Lake Street in Melrose Park. Tickets are $30 a piece, and the full table is $210. Again, that's the Progressive Center for Independent Living. 2 other items from the office of Congressman Danny Davis. Congressman Davis will have a youth town hall meeting agenda for youth violence, juvenile justice, and juvenile rights and parenting, Tuesday, October 15th, 2013, at 7 at the Christian Love Missionary Baptist Church, 549 North Spalding, Chicago, Illinois. And a second town hall meeting from Congressman Davis's office. The agenda will be Women's Health and Affordable Care Act. And this will be Monday, October 21st, 2013 at 7 p.m. at Christ the King Jesuit College Prep High School, 5088 West Jackson Boulevard in Chicago. And that concludes our communications. Next item on the agenda is number 7, old business. A, consideration of an ordinance authorizing and approving the execution of a utility cost audit agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and AM Audit for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
I have a motion to approve, or any motion. Did everyone get this? You good? We can't talk about it unless we get a motion. You know what? In order to talk about it, I'll make a motion to approve. Okay. There's been a motion by McGrier to approve and second by Benson to approve this. Comments from the members of the board, starting with Trustee Marino.
Well, reiterating what I said at the last meeting, on November 21st of 2011, after getting presentations from this company, AM Audit, and another company, Azavar, that do the same type of utility audits, the board had chosen Azavar, which in its presentation described a more thorough package of superior product, etc. and offered to do it for less money. Where AM Audit is looking for 50% of whatever money they save us for 3 years, 36 months, Azavar was looking for 45% for, I don't know, 30 or 33 months, something like that. So after that, it was up to the mayor and the attorneys to execute the agreement, which they never did. Aside from that concern, and I had spoken with the gentleman from Azavar quite a few times over the year after that, and he was having a difficult time trying to get the mayor or the attorneys to return his calls. I also wanted to point out, as I did last time, that Mayor Jones, on August 19th, I believe, was the second meeting in August, when you introduced the gentleman from AM Audit to give his presentation that wasn't on the agenda, you may have slipped up and let us know that you're good friends, close personal friends with the owner of AM Audit. So I personally have a problem with the way that this whole thing has been handled, and the fact that we have gone without whatever savings we would have had for almost 2 years now. So those are the comments. I know you weren't here at the last meeting, Mr. Mayor, which is one of the reasons I wanted to reiterate this, but one of my concerns with this. I was also under the impression that before we took this up, Mr. Hood, our budget officer, was going to see what type of savings we could discover on our own before we turn this over to a company where we have to pay them to do the same work. So those are my comments about this item.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Marino. Trustee Moore?
Well, I think that I concur with what she's saying, and then I thought we had talked to Tom Hood about, just looking at some more companies, so, before we made a decision. That's my comment.
Thank you, Trustee Moore. Trustee McGriff?
In light of speaking with our budget officer and attorneys, there are some services that we can have in-house, taken care of, and save ourselves some money, rather than to have the service from an outside source. So with that being said, we need to give it a second look and probably either table this or let this approval die.
Okay. Trustee Turner?
Since I'm the newbie on the block, I asked Judy to send me information regarding this matter. I guess past minutes or whatever. And I looked at the video from August 19th. And from what I can tell, I don't see what was wrong. I mean, the mayor said that he's friends with the owner. He's not in with the company. So I don't understand, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to imply that maybe he'll get a kickback? So I'm confused.
No.
Enlighten me.
I'm not accusing him of a kickback, but I am saying that there was that there may have been, friendship may have been enough of an incentive to decide not to work with the other company and prefer to wait until he could bring this company back. I'm not accusing him of kickbacks or anything like that, but I'm saying that he appears to have a relationship and didn't want to work with the company that the board chose. That's all I was saying.
But wouldn't you want to do business with someone that you know than someone that you don't know?
Not necessarily.
It should be going to be. But is that the question? Okay. Trustee Benson? Thanks.
At the last board meeting, I stated this because I do remember as far, and I've read AM Audits, I got hold of their presentation, but I think we did vote on Azavar, so I guess I'm kind of stuck, like what happened with Azavar, and
go ahead.
I'm just making my comments. My comments are, okay, what happened with Azavar? I had no problem with AM Audit. I read their proposal too, so I'm a little confused in the situation, therefore I was not prepared to vote on this. I only motioned to approve so that we could speak about it, so I guess the general public could understand my thoughts behind it. However, I am in favor of tabling it, just until I can get more information for myself, the other trustees can do the same for themselves. That's my only comment.
Trustee Amen.
My comments would be, you know, obviously this came up a year ago, as all the trustees are saying with this other firm. Obviously, there was a reason that we did not use them. I don't know what their contract status is or what the cost was. The other thing you'd have to look at is our in-staff personnel capable of researching, since they're here in day-to-day operations, and if that could save us a little bit of money. I mean, again, looking at what AM Audit has to offer, again, I don't have a problem with it, as Trustee Benson has said, we don't have a problem with their things. It's just kind of feeling what's best for the village. So, you know, if our staff has an opinion, they think they can do a better job, or if they think they can do it, you know, I'm open to anything to see what's going to save the village money, so.
Absolutely. Mr. Attorney, you have anything to add to this?
Just to clear up, unless you wanted to clear up. As was, if you remember the ordinances that we were supposed to, left it up to the village attorney to draft responsive comments to the contract. We had forwarded that to Avazar. Never received a comment back, and sort of.
I got the email. Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
I said I got the email.
Yeah.
I got the copy of the email.
So generally, it was floating for a while, and then, you know, well, if anything else didn't come back. Well, we changed the terms of the agreement.
We never, you done, Mr.
I am done.
Let me tell you all the rest of the story.
Why we didn't get this
Okay, well, let me tell you, because I wasn't here. You know, let's tell you the rest of the story. Azabar is a company that initially had communication with Trustee Marino prior to coming to the board. So that were her people, if you want to call it that. Mr. Pandolfi is the gentleman that's in question as it relates to AM Audit. Mr. Pandolfi is a friend of mine because he's an accountant. He's actually a municipal accountant. They do municipal audit before he closed down his firm. Mr. Pandolfi was the principal owner of PDW, Pandolfi, Topolsky, and Weiss. They were an accounting firm located in Westchester. That's how I know Mr. Pandolfi. And no, he's not the owner of AM Audit. He's just a representative of him, and he came to me because he knew me personally and said, hey, listen, I represent this company and I'd like to present this to you. Now, as it relates to the agreement that was made in this very boardroom right here in a public meeting, yes, I did say that Pandolfi is a friend of mine, which he is, that there's no disputing that, and I will not deny that. But at the same point in time, we agreed to use Azabar, and between me and the attorney, we could not come to a contractual agreement. To the point that the board is talking about now, there are some things that our own staff could do that Azabar wanted to do. See, they wanted to get the whole enchilada out of the deal. Plus, there was some other language in the contract that was adjusted by the village attorneys, so we did not come to any kind of a mutual agreement. Matter of fact, it got to the point where Azabar didn't even respond to the emails, which we have copies of. So, having said that, it ended up that we ended up sitting out here for all this time with nothing being done. AM Audit came back to the table, contacted me and said, you know, how's it going? Did the other company do da-da-da-da? I said, no, but we'd like to come back because we are still interested in doing business. Thus, it's back in front of the board. So that's where we are now, trustee. Azabar was supposed to contact the attorney and myself to complete an agreement that never happened.
And this was after we voted?
This was after we voted on it, and there were emails going back and forth between the attorney and Azabar as related to language in the contract, and parameters of the contract. Azabar failed to respond, thus we got no contract, thus there's no work being done.
So we never came to a completed agreement?
And no
at all?
That's correct.
And no payment was
And no payment was rendered to anyone.
So technically, you're right, we don't have a contract.
No, absolutely not.
So we don't have nothing.
We made an agreement in this room to execute a contract with them or to come to some kind of a contractual agreement with them.
Right, and we always put the stipulation in.
And that's right, and so
we can make changes afterwards, we make sure that we come to an agreement. That, I guess that's where we were lacking.
So that's what happened with
I just don't understand that's what the problem is.
No, I'm sure that they're still in business, but for whatever reason, they did not like the changes that we wanted in the contract, and it didn't happen.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys just need to know the rest of the story.
Right, that's what we did, so that's why we
Yeah,
did.
and that's why AM Audit is back on the table.
Okay, so we don't owe anything to Asbar. We
There
just
is
make
no,
sure,
we have no liability, no exposure at all to anyone.
and so they won't respond.
And even if we approved AM on it, we'd have to go through the same process with them, to come to an agreement on the contract. To you all's point, if there's things that staff can do here, either Tom Hood or Ms. Baptist, that we can do it in-house and find the savings on our own, we would just eliminate that from the contract.
Okay.
So we would do that prior to entering into any agreement with
Oh, absolutely.
any pocket at this point.
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, I want to thank you.
We need to make the superseding
I thought Kevin had
The
the right
motion was to
supersede,
approve.
but
Motion
I mean,
was to approve.
I can supersede
Yes, you
too.
can.
So, I mean, a superseding motion to table, please.
Second.
Okay, the motion by trustee Benson and second by trustee Abraham to table. Mr. Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
trustee Benson,
Yes.
trustee Turner,
Yes.
trustee McGreer,
Yes.
trustee Morris,
Yes.
trustee Brown Marino.
Yes?
Okay, and that motion is tabled, AM audit is tabled until the next board
The
meeting.
next board meeting, I'm sorry, yes.
Mr. Clerk?
Item B of old business, consideration of an ordinance authorizing and approving the execution of a municipal franchise and tax audit agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and an AM audit for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
A motion to table this one as well to the next board meeting.
Properly motion by trustee McGreer and properly second by trustee Turner to table. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. This one be tabled along, because this one goes in conjunction with item A.
That'll be the next board meeting.
Next board meeting.
New business, consideration of an ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Broadview and the County of Cook for the provision of environmental health inspection services for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second. We didn't finish. Make a motion to approve.
Motion by trustee Benson, second by trustee Turner. Questions or comments from the members of the board, starting with trustee Marino?
None.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer? None. Turner?
Done.
Benson?
None.
And trustee Abraham? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously.
Consideration of an application for business license for the Cargo Transit Corporation for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by Benson and properly seconded by trustee Abraham to approve this application for business license. Ms. Benson?
Cargo Transit Corporation will be located at 2600 South 25th Avenue. They call it Suite G. Cargo Transit Corporation is a transportation company that loads and unloads the trailers back here. That unloads the trailers back here on the tracks. They have all their inspections in. I gave them a call earlier today and I was able to speak with Christina. And she already knows that I can't pronounce that last name. But I also see here, I see Christina, thank you for standing. I also see the owner, Mr. Joe Rayland, here as well. For this, I have the articles of incorporation, thank you for standing. And I also have the proof of the FEIN number, which is good. And I thank you for giving me all the information. I'm gonna yield a few seconds or minutes to either Christina the Cargo or Joe Rayland, the owner. Go ahead.
Cargo Transit Corp, like you said, is a transportation company that unloads the trailers and load them back on. We basically work during the day, sometimes during the night. We do not carry any hazmat loads, so there is no hazmat permit needed.
So you And your application does say non-stop, which means you could be loading in the middle of the night.
We could be loading at a different time of the day. It's, well, maybe I put it wrong, not stop, non-stop, but I cannot really specify the hours. Sometimes during the day, sometimes during the night. Usually we have Saturday off. Sunday evening we do have stuff to do, but it's not 24/7.
I'm just curious as to what you load and unload, some of the things.
The things that we carry is the dry goods, most of foods, chips, just the dry packages, drinks.
Any other trustees had any other questions? I talked with Christina already.
Okay, well, let me run the meeting, man.
Go.
Okay, trustee Marina.
I have no questions,
Trustee
no.
Moore, trustee McGreer, trustee Turner, and trustee Abraham.
No.
Well, I don't have any for you either, ma'am, and welcome, Broadview.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of approving this motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, welcome you all to Broadview. Mr. Rayner, who is the owner of the property, or well-respected property owner in the village of Broadview, you care to address the board, sir? If you want to address the board, it seems like you can.
Thank you for the compliment. That and $4 to get your cup of coffee at Starbucks. In fact, they should call it $4.
$4.
Not Starbucks. For the benefit of those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe Vina. I own a building at 2600 South 25th Street. That building's, I shouldn't say I own it. Me and Bank of America own it. That building is 389,000 square feet. In 2002, when I bought the building, that only stayed for 1 year. And I had one big vacant building. It was the third building that I bought in the village. I bought the first building in June of 1990, 1821 Gardner. Gardner Street butts right into the frontage of the Eisenhower. That building was 179,000 square feet. Previous owners went bankrupt. We were contacted, my former partner and I, by the bank that owned that building. They had tremendous confidence in us. Not only did they loan us the money to buy the building, they loaned us another $800,000 to pay the taxes, fix it up, get it leased. Now we use a rule of thumb of 1 person per 1,000 feet when we go to lease. We do that in order to provide proper parking. You don't want to lease space to a company that has 200 people working for them and they take half the building but you can't park. So also the rule of thumb on 179,000 feet is that we would possibly bring 179 jobs to this building. November of 1999, we got a call from the then mayor, because we were in the town, that another building at 2000 South 25th Street is going to be vacated. They were moving that company to New Jersey. So the village was going to have another 140,000 square feet vacant. We found another bank. In the days when banks would loan money based on the jockey and not the horse. We were a good jockey. That bank loaned us $3.9 million. I say that for a reason, not to impress anybody, but merely to state the fact that in those days we could borrow money. We bought that building in less than 8 months. We built it. Another 130, 140 jobs for this building. In 2002, September 30th to be exact, got another call from the then mayor. A
building occupied by General Motors on the street is going to be up for sale. We put in a bid. We were fortunate enough that we took our bid. LaSalle Bank projected that building at $15 million. If it was fully leased, not based on what General Motors was paying us. General Motors stayed for 1 year. Because of the sale date of September 30th, they were responsible for the taxes for all of that year. And through October of 2003, the taxes, ladies and gentlemen, were $90,000. The tax man, because Cook County was usually a little bit behind times, to say the least, didn't catch up with us until 2004. General Motors paid the tax in 2003. In 2004, the taxes doubled, went to $180,000. By 2010, they were $480,000. I don't make $480,000 on a building. There's a gentleman sitting behind me, we've had this discussion, Mr. Mayor knows, he has seen my financial statements. My name is on the paper at a bank, and was on the paper originally for $10.8 million. I take that a little serious. Personal guarantee, which makes me work real hard to make sure that that building continues to be leased with the right kind of people. I'm going to table that for just a minute and continue with this story of where this country is today and what a serious couple of, I won't say issues, but important things we need to discuss, Mr. Mayor, and ladies and gentlemen on this board. I got a phone call from the then mayor, Pasquale, a good Irish guy, from Belleville. He called me one day, early 2010. This country was in a much worse mess than it is today. He said, Joe, there's a couple of buildings on Washington, just west of 25th Street. I'd like you to look at it. I said, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I'm not really interested. He said, just do me a favor and look at these two buildings. So Jose and I, my partner, and I went to look at those two buildings. One was 51,000 square feet, built in 1946, and it looked like 1940. It looked like somebody dropped a time bomb dating back about 50 years, because nothing had been done with that building. The other building was 54,000 square feet. Pretty good shape. Owned by Sanford Inc., which is a division of Rubbermaid. We looked at that building. Little problem in that building, Mr. Mayor. There had been a flood. There had been 2 feet of water in that building. They had cut all the sheetrock all the way around it, the entire 54,000 feet. It was a mess. All of this was topped off with serious environmental problem. A very serious environmental problem. As part of the deal, the realtor told me that the people who are trying to sell the building will clean up the problem. I said, that being considered, the price is right. Let me see what I can do. I told him there, I'll try to put a team together and see what we can do. I put that team together. My partner, Jose Jorge, and I came up with some money. My wife, who's an architect, came up with some money. We scraped together about 700,000. We also got my electrician who's been doing my work since 1987 to come in and estimate what it would cost to bring these buildings to code. That number was a little over 200,000. He agreed to do the work, providing the time and material and labor for a piece of the deal. That's 200,000. We didn't have to worry about borrowing. Then I got the heating and air conditioning guy who's been doing my work for the last 15 years, who happens to be union. He's not cheap. He estimated it would be 100,000 to put new heating and air conditioning in the old building. So between material, labor, and cash, we had $1 million. Not a lot of money in today's world. Then I started talking to banks. A lot of banks. I called the people at Bank of America, formerly LaSalle Bank. I'm not bragging, I'm not out here to pat myself on the back, but I do have a track record. And I had been in that bank since '92. This is 2010. At one time, my former partner and I owed that bank $45 million. Never a day late on a payment, ever. You know what they told me? Sorry, we're not making loans with vacant buildings. What? I was only asking to borrow $600,000. I all but dropped the deal. And I was having breakfast with a friend of mine who owned a bank. This bank had a little problem at the time. They weren't loaning any money. I had been in that bank since '92. Having breakfast with him up in Broadview. I hadn't seen him for a few months. He'd been in Florida. He said, "What are you working on?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "These banks, including your bank, they're not loaning any money." I told him about the two buildings. I had been in a deal with him in 1997 on another vacant building. We had a very successful deal on that building. He says, it's a Saturday morning. He says to me, let's get in the car, let's go look at the building. I said, well, I got to find a realtor. I got on the phone, I called the guy. He said, I'll be there. We went to look at the building. This is an 82-year-old man, on my hand of God, was worth over $100 million. He owned a bank and he owned one of the largest insurance companies in the state of Illinois. He said to me, we have made a lot of money on you over the years. I know my bank can't loan you any money right now. How much do you need to pay cash and get started for this building? I said, Peter, at least $500,000 or $600,000. He reached in his pocket and pulled his checkbook out and wrote me a check on the spot for $500,000. Go buy the damn building. And if you need more, let me know. So Jose and I turned around, we went to 3 more banks. Now we got the cash to build the building, to buy the buildings, and to start the development. We finally found a small bank in Broadview. They were willing to loan us $600,000 if and when we got 50% lease. It took us a year to get to 50% lease. And we scraped together from the 5 of us another $350,000 for 2 little stinking buildings, 100,000 feet. To borrow $600,000. I used to be able to pick up the phone and get $600,000 on the phone. Bring this to your attention for a simple reason. Jose? Okay. Look into this yet, but let me tell you what I put together. Before you get into it, you can open this up, and I have in front of me my tax bill for the building at 2600 South 25th Street in Broadview. I've got it highlighted. if you look at it, the taxes for 2012 went from 480,000 in the year 2010 to 582,000 for 2011. And for 2012, the taxes went to $616,000. Of that, the Broadview Public Library gets $31,655.72. Guess what? I can't use your public library because I don't reside in the village of Broadview. The Broadview Park District got $21,008.92. There's over 300 people that work in my building. If I go to Mr. Upshaw and say, I want to use the park and throw a big party for everybody in my building, he's going to tell me, well, you're not a resident and our insurance won't cover you, so you can't use our park. Okay, I'll give you the $21,000. Just a pittance, Mr. Mayor. In addition to that, the village of Broadview gets $147,176, plus the pension fund for the village gets $48,280.65. And our dear friends in Cook County and Proviso Township get the rest of my $616,000. Now, guys, if I made $616,000, I'd even give them a little more. But that building doesn't make $616,000. Twice, in 2012 and in 2013, I had to borrow money to pay my taxes. What choice do I have? If I don't, somebody's going to buy the taxes and end up with my building. I won't bore you with the rest of the story. But twice since 2008, Bank of America, in order for me to get my loan financed, renewed, in 2008, they said, we'll renew your loan, but we want you to pay $19,000 a month on the principal. I was paying $11,000. I said, okay, well, what choice do you have? I went to 4 of the banks, I couldn't get the loan. That's in spite of the fact I've never been a day late on a payment. That's in spite of the fact my building's fully leased. In 2011, that loan came up again. In order to renew it, this time they said, we want you to go from $19,000 a month to $37,000 a month. Again, I went to 4 of the banks. I didn't go to 4 banks, just any old bank. I went to banks that I knew the people. I got the same story. What does all this get down to? It gets down to 2 issues. First issue is, it is so tough today to get a tenant to come to Broadview or to go to Bellwood, where we have 2 small buildings, or to go to Melrose Park, where I have 2 more buildings. Here's what I'm up against. I'm up against all of the surrounding communities. Franklin Park, Melrose Park, Bellwood, Hillside, Westchester. A lot of people are upside down with their buildings. They're half empty. They're 70% empty. And what happens is, the owner is desperate. He offers free rent. Sometimes as much as 3 or 4 months of free rent. Sometimes he'll offer the rent so cheap, it's just a matter of so he can make his payment and pay the taxes. Sometimes he's in what is called a workout with a bank or a lender where he can't make the payment. And we put him in workout so that all they ask for is the least paid interest. You know why? Because these lenders have so many buildings they've already taken back. And where am I going with all this? I'm not going to bore you people with the rest of this. You can take it home and read it. But let me tell you what's available in the city of Broadview. Just Broadview. A Available for lease, 700,888 square feet. 788,000 square feet that people can go lease. Industrial space, she's got dollars in it, these are not dollars. Industrial space that's for sale, 813,921 square feet. Then there's property, retail sales in here, and retail sales for lease. Not a lot. Now that's a negative. Let me tell you why it's a negative. This village derives its income from several areas. One of them is sales tax. Another one we've already discussed. And that's from real estate taxes from all of us, from you homeowners, from the business people. Let's go to trying to get a prospective tenant to come into this town. And here I think is some constructive criticism. Here's what I'm up against. The company comes to us, let's just backtrack for a few minutes. Let's say it's the first or second week of August. And that company has a target date. They're already leasing somewhere. Their lease is coming up, maybe in 2 months. Sometimes it could be coming up in 4 months. The problem is they have things they need in order to move in. Let's take the lady that was up there a few minutes ago. They needed truck parking. They needed truck parking for 15 trailers. So they're kind of looking for a needle in a haystack relative to how much square footage they need. They might only need 15 to 20,000 square feet. Well, they can look and look and look, because to find parking for 15 trailers and trucks for that small amount of space is a needle in a haystack. But they got a target date. They got to be in their new space by the 25th of the coming month. So they got about 6 or 8 weeks to make the move. Coincidentally, I had a company moving out of the space. I called Mr. Upshaw. I said, I'm going to need about 10 days to clean this place up before you can bring in your inspectors. I signed the lease in mid-August, late August, about the 20th. Now, we got to bring in 5 or 6 inspectors, and I have no problem with it. The reason I have no problem with it is, if something comes up, if there's something wrong with the electrical system and there's a fire, I don't want anybody getting hurt in my building, and I don't want to have a problem. But here comes the potential time frame. Because if we meet all the deadlines, we get the inspection done, we get the building cleaned up and painted because the previous tenant left it a mess, and we can get these people in there on time, we have to live with, when can this person come to a meeting? So it could be a period of 4 or 5 weeks before that person can get to this meeting and get approval to move in. If there's a lapse in the time, sometimes a matter of a month, they can't shut down their business. They have to keep running their business if their lease is up. And they got to be out in a certain period of time. I think we should have some kind of a temporary period to at least let them operate with some kind of a 2-week or 3-week period until they can come here and ask for permission to be in this building. Otherwise, it makes my job that much tougher. We run the risk of me telling somebody, I'm sorry, But you can't move in until such and such a date, until you go before this board, and that's it. Go find another location. We can't afford that in this town. If we don't have some kind of a temporary permit, then we're gonna have a problem. Now, I've been in this town since I announced earlier, since '90. I never had a problem before. I would go to the building commissioner, I'd go to the mayor, and I would say, listen, I got these people, they need to move in on the 15th, or they gotta move in on the 20th, and I never had a problem. But I have now had two problems. And I'm appealing to you people that I took the time to put all this together. We got 1.5 million square feet available in this town. We need to take an aggressive approach. We need to do something to attract businesses in this town. Because let me explain something to you. That lady that stood before you a few minutes ago, how many employees do you have, Christina?
20.
How many?
About 20 right now.
Okay. Think about this. When they move into this town, they gotta go to Staples. They gotta go to Home Depot. They gotta spend money. They gotta go someplace to eat. That creates sales tax. That keeps the economy going. If we could fill this 1.5 million square feet in the next couple of years, think of what it's going to do for the economy of this town. So, Mayor, I'm being honest with you. We've had this discussion. I'm up to here. I'm up to here with this state and all the damn rules that they have imposed on us. I'm sick and tired of Cook County where we have a Cook County assessor assessing us, telling us how much they're going to charge us for taxes. And this same guy appoints 3 family members and pays them big salaries, gets criticized by some of the aldermen and by the Chicago Tribune, paying one of his relatives over $100,000 a year. And I'm sick of $616,000 in taxes I gotta pay on this building. Okay? So I'm telling you what's happening. I'm not crying wolf, Mr. Mayor. You know what this is? This is a brochure on my building. I put my building up for sale. I can't deal with it anymore. I'm telling you people, read what I put together here. I've taken the time to do it. Because there's a reason why a city like Detroit at one time had the 4th highest paid per person in the United States. 4. It was once the 4th largest city. It's bankrupt. 30 years ago, our neighbor here in Maywood was a booming community. My partner was on the board of directors at a bank in that town. And look at it today. Don't let that happen in this town. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next item is C, consideration of a motion to approve a request by the village fire department to hire 3 new firefighters for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Probably motion by trustee Morris and probably second by trustee Turner. Questions and comments from members of the board? The fire chief is here, still waiting. Trustee Marino?
Long overdue. And I would like to reiterate, because I've been asked by a couple of residents how we plan to pay for more firefighters. I would like to ask that the budget hearing be, I don't know why this is, I would like to ask that the budget hearing be put on the website, because Chief Gardner gave an excellent presentation about the ways that we can increase revenue and save money and therefore pay for these firefighters. And the overall effect, including things like our ISO rating, which would have a dramatic impact on our industrial property owners as well. So long overdue and very glad to see it.
Trustee Moore? I don't have no comment. Trustee McGrill? No comment. Trustee Turner?
No comment.
Trustee Vincent? Trustee Abraham?
No.
Hey, listen, I'm
Trustee Marino and I don't always agree on a whole lot of things. On this one, we just happen to be on the same page. So it's a great thing. And for those of you that were not at the budget meeting or the budget hearing, we're going to get that out there so that you can see it because it was very interesting. It was very enlightening. And I had to credit both our chief for being very creative in how they're going to be financing some of the things they're trying to do. So with that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries for the hiring of these firefighters.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the new business D, consideration of an ordinance approving facade improvement agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and Siraj Van Hirpuro for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by trustee McGriff, probably second by trustee Abraham to approve this facade improvement agreement. Questions, comments from members of the board? Trustee Marino?
Overall, I have no problem with the facade agreement. My only concern, and this is the same on both of these, on page 2 of the agreement, under section 1, we have a blank line where it says the actual total reimbursement amounts for this agreement shall not exceed, and there's no dollar amount. And thank you, Mr. Finaro. I got the figures on what they plan to do, but there's two different sums on here as far as the total cost. One is $47,690, the other one $59,980. So I have no problem with the facade agreement in concept, but I would hope that we could get some final figures.
If I'm not mistaken, I think our facade program limits us to our participation. Mr. Greenway said something.
Right, and it would be half of one of those two amounts, but...
But it was limited, it had a cap on it.
Right, the cap...
Normally, in the last couple of facade agreements that we've done, in terms of the amount of money that goes into the space that she's talking about was determined by the board based on the proposal that's in the package. So I think for him, it was 60 grand, 59 something. Yeah.
So at 50%, it would be $29,990.
What I'm referring to, Mr. Finaro, on page 2, at the very top of the Blue Sky estimate, it says $47,690, and then in parentheses, the numeric is different. Now, for these purposes, I would have no problem with saying that the, that it would simply not exceed 30,000, which is our maximum anyway, and that would cover either of them.
Can we just make all the agreements to have a maximum amount of just $329 so that we're not going to exceed that amount?
That's fine. Next time, Mr. Mayor, I'm saying those projects, they're not 60 grand.
Doesn't matter. If we're going to be limited to 30,000, you put the 30,000 on there, and if they spend 20, if we spend 20, it's 20. Okay. But it should be not to exceed. It should be a finite number.
That was a proposal. I think the agreement itself, yeah, kind of reflected the actual agreement that prepared the
Once they got the agreement, right?
Yeah, that was attached to the exhibit. It says that it was not exceed 30,000. So the agreement just.
Well, I guess to appease the trustees, we need to have it both sides. We just need to put the figure in.
We'll short up to make sure that the.
And then we can put the actual figure in the contract. You can put it not to exceed in the original, and then you just go on and put the actual figure in the actual contract once you get the proposal. Or once the business gets the proposal. Does that make sense? Okay.
That's my only comment.
Trustee Moore?
No.
Trustee McGrill?
None.
Trustee Turner?
No.
Trustee Benson?
I just want to make sure I understood your comment. We just want to figure in that blank, because it does say not to exceed on here.
Yeah, Trustee Marino's comment was that it was blank, that they not have a number.
That mine needs to have something? Okay, but it does say something in the previous paragraph. That's all I wanted to know. We're just going to put, I guess, something in that amount. Right, that's what it says. Okay, I just make sure I understand.
Trustee Abraham? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries with the proper corrections by the attorney.
E. Item E, consideration of an ordinance approving a facade improvement agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and Ajak for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Properly motion by Trustee McGreer, properly second by Trustee Abraham to approve this agenda item. Other comments from members of the board? Marino?
Just the same comment. Right.
So noted. Trustee Moore? No. Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Turner? Trustee Benson? Trustee Abraham? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, that motion carries unanimously as well.
New business F, consideration of an ordinance approving an agreement with the Finaro Law for the provision of legal services associated with the proposed issuance of bonds for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by Trustee Abraham, probably second by Trustee McGreer. Questions or comments from the members of the board? Trustee Marino?
Well, the bonds that are being sold, for those who aren't familiar with this in the audience, in fiscal year '04, the village sold almost $12 million in bonds, and part of the money that's pledged to repay it was from another set of bonds that were sold. According to the terms of those bonds, we're required to, we're sort of required to issue these bonds every year. So what we do is we issue a new set of bonds to pay off the old ones, and the amount has increased over the years. It seems to be, right under $1 million at this point. I've been talking about this year after year, that there are better ways to do this. Selling bonds is the most expensive way to borrow money. For the last few years, we've been selling our bonds directly to one purchaser, which is MB Financial Bank. I don't see any reason why we can't establish a different type of a borrowing program with them that wouldn't involve all the costs of the bond underwriter, the bond counsel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think this is a horrible way to do this. And as a matter of fact, last year I shared with the other board members articles about how many municipalities are going to, when they have a direct purchaser, there's advantages to it, including that you don't have the I didn't bring all the articles with me. Basically the underwriter services and what have you. We don't need all of this rigmarole. For that reason, and I haven't done this the last 2 years, but I am going to vote against this because I think that this is a very wasteful way to do this. It costs the village between $20,000 and $25,000 a year for us to do it this way, and there are better ways to structure this debt. So I have to say that I'm not just about this with it's not about Mr. Finaro as the council in particular, but the entire concept of this. We're borrowing from Visa to pay our MasterCard bill, and then the next year we borrow from MasterCard to pay our Visa bill. It's a ridiculous way to operate, so that's my comment about this.
Trustee Morris? No. Trustee McGreer?
Mr. Mayor, can I ask that either our attorney or our finance director weigh in on the comments from Brown Marino to give us more insight on this?
I'm sure they will be able to.
Okay, good.
Trustee Turner? Trustee Benson?
We're only considering the legal agreement, correct? Isn't that what item F is?
Yeah.
All right, so it had nothing to do with whatever she was saying.
Well, it has to do with it because he'll be acting on our behalf as the bond issue.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. I have no questions.
Mr. Turner, you want to weigh in on this? Ms. Baptist, would you, anyone you guys want to comment?
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
On the question?
My opinion, which you all have a very detailed write-up about this whole thing. But the bottom line, the reason why, this has been in place since 2004, but the bottom reason why, there are other ways and maybe even cheaper ways to borrow money. But this is the only way that we can actually tap into the tax levy money that would otherwise be left on the table. If we did it any other way, it would have to be paid out of other operational funds. So that's the reason why I said it.
Plus we're on a short window here, you know, if we were going to do something different, that would be another consideration maybe shortly after the bond is sold.
And having said all of that from everyone involved, Tom, you got something to add?
I just wanted to point out, most of those costs are offset by the earnings off of the guaranteed investment contract that was set up in 2004. We get
You gonna say it, $34,000 a year, but that ain't got nothing to do with this bond. That ain't got nothing to do with this bond.
Let me explain why. I'll explain why. When this was done, the village was in very bad financial shape. We couldn't even get bond insurance. So the underwriters came up with this plan to allow us to do one bond issuance by doing this rollover bond year after year, which increases the village revenues by allowing us to go into the tax stream. The reason we're doing this rollover bond is there is part of the money was put into a fund that's going to sit there until the very end. It's held in a trust. It's $800 and something thousand. I don't remember exact number. $865,000. That at the end of all this, we get our $865,000 back. We're getting the.
We don't get it back. It's paying the finance.
It's going to pay the
So if you gonna say that, just leave it alone. Tell me it got nothing to do with it.
Well, it does. It's making money every year. That money is used to finance the reissuance of the bond every year. So we're making, when this was set up, there was a way for the revenues to come in to make sure this bond was redone every year. At the end, we get our money back from the guaranteed investment contract. We make the last bond payment. It's done. If we don't do this, we're going to have to take the $900,000 out of the general fund, which means we're going to have to cut back somewhere, whether it's firemen, police, whatever it is, to pay that bond off. For that year, we lay these guys off for a year, then we can do this. And then when the investment contract expires in 2022, whatever the date is, we'll get that $800,000 back then with no other, because we won't have a bond to pay. But this way, it's an ongoing way to get a lower interest rate on the bond deal we did in 2004. We couldn't get a guarantee. We couldn't get a guarantee on our bond issuance back then, and this was the way that it was set up to get us our lower rate, pay less money over the life of 2003 bonds, and have that income stream coming in to ensure that there was interest and principal payments to be made on the 2003 off of the tax revenue, and also we got to generate enough income off of it's called the guaranteed investment contract. That income coming in is to pay for this rollover cost. So there isn't a lot of money being wasted here. It's just working the way it's set up in 2004. That's all.
Good, thanks. Good job, buddy.
You know, my only comment to that is this. I'm all for saving money. I think it's a great idea to save money. But rhetoric is exactly that, rhetoric. And I challenge Trustee Marino to present to the Finance Department specific detailed ways that they could have done this at a much lower rate without exposing our operating funds to the tune of over $800,000, almost $900,000. So if you've got a better way to do this, and you're sitting in the room making these statements, but you don't have no concrete hard data or facts or none that you presented to Finance, and we're at the 11th hour with this, I don't see any reason why we should even be discussing it at this point. You know, this needs to be done now because it's something that just has to happen. Otherwise, we're exposed to the tune of over $800,000. And that's my 2 cents to this. Mr. Clerk, I'll entertain a roll call on the motion.
Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Benson.
Not a roll.
Trustee Turner.
Yes.
Trustee McGreer.
Yes.
Trustee Moore.
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino.
No.
And the motion carries 4-1.
Next item on the agenda, G, consideration of an ordinance approving an agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and Miller, Canfield, Paddock, and Stone PLC for the provision of bond services for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Make the motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by trustee Abraham, probably second by trustee Turner. This is all, matter of fact, item G and H are all involved in the same bond issue that they just spoke about. As it relates to the roll bonding $865,000. So just so that everyone knows, that this item and the next item are all related to the last item. Questions or comments from the members of the board, starting with trustee Marino?
Yes. Couple things. First of all, in terms of leaving something on the table, we are looking at what we're going to do to finance other work in the village, capital improvements, and we can certainly take advantage of whatever's on the table that way. The fact that it's the 11th hour now, I have been talking about this year after year after year since 2007. Last year, I brought in much more information and material, and of course, was poo-pooed. I have, in fact, right after I became a trustee, I asked to meet with Finance Director Baptiste and the underwriters, and we spent some time talking about what various possibilities would be and whatnot. I will make a concerted effort between now and over the next couple months to have a much more concrete proposal, if there's any chance that it would be received by this group. So I beg to differ with much of what was just said. And it's not that I'm waiting until the last minute, it's just that I'm not allowed to speak about anything unless it is specifically on the agenda. So this is the only opportunity I have to talk about it publicly. But it's something I have been talking about publicly and privately for 6-7 years now. And enough is enough. It's got to end. I mean, it should end. We're in a horrible cycle with this. So having said that, I'll continue to vote no on these. There's sufficient people here to pass it, and I will have a much more concrete proposal sometime within the next, say by January, of how we can handle this next year.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer? None. Trustee Turner?
No.
And trustee Abraham?
I just want to thank Jan for sending out that extensive email to all the members of the board regarding what's been going on. This is the 10th year of the annual rollover bond process, as well as who we've been using for the last few years. So again, I'm sure if there was any questions or somebody didn't understand something, I think it could have brought to Jan's attention. I know she's very diligent in doing her job here for the village, as well as her experience in municipal accounting. Same thing with Tom Wood. So if these are their recommendations, I, as the finance chair, I encourage my trustees to support this. That's all I have to say, sir.
Yeah, and as I said before, rhetoric is exactly that, rhetoric. Without anything in writing or any proposal in front of us to the alternative, I mean, we don't have a whole lot else to go on, just basically hearsay. Mr. Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Benson. Trustee Turner.
Yes.
Trustee McGreer.
Yes.
Trustee Moore.
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino.
No.
And that motion carries 4-1 as well.
H, item H, consideration of an ordinance approving an agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and George K. Baum and Company with regard to underwriting services for the annual rollover bond for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Make a motion to approve.
Probably motion by trustee Abraham and probably second by trustee Turner. Do we need to go through the questions and comments again? Trustee Marino?
You know, it's rare that I have an opportunity to respond after everybody else talks, but I'll restrain myself this time.
Trustee Moore?
No.
Trustee McGreer? No. Trustee Turner?
Yes.
Trustee Benson? Trustee Abraham?
Other than, again, with regards to finance, our finance department, Mrs. Baptiste and Mr. Boyd. Again, I support their recommendation. Again, I encourage my fellow trustees to go along with what they presented in front of us. If this is the best possible way, I think we should move with it.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Benson.
And let me just be certain, you got on I, right? Okay, yes.
Trustee Turner.
Yes.
Trustee McGreer.
Yes.
Trustee Moore.
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino.
No.
And that motion carries 5-1.
Item I, consideration of an ordinance authorizing and approving an agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and the Community of Distinction TV for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably a motion by trustee McGreer, probably second by trustee Turner. Did everyone get the email from the clerk's office and the link to the site?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'll just let everyone know. Basically, Communities of Distinction is a syndicated television program that highlights forward-moving and smaller communities that are kind of unknown. And what they do is they actually highlight, they come out, they send a film crew out, and they actually broadcast your town. They talk about different aspects of your town, and they highlight all the good things about it. They come and they show the business in the industrial park, they show your commercial area, they show your residents, they interview a handful of people. It's narrated by Terry Bradshaw, the former pro football quarterback, and they contacted me personally. We're one of a handful of communities in the state that they actually contacted for this, and there's a fee associated with it, but at the end of the day, we get sole proprietorship over the actual DVD itself, so we'll get the DVD to use at our leisure, whatever they produce. We also get final say-so on what they actually are going to broadcast. So they'll come out, they'll send the film crews out, and we'll see everything that they're going to do edited prior to it being aired. And I just think it's a great marketing tool for the village. I think they're going to talk about the location, how long the town's been in existence, the demographics and the dynamics of the town. I just think it's a great idea. And as opposed to paying $36,000 a year for some marketing agent, you got a nationally syndicated television show that's going to go out there and market your town through it. And I don't even know what channels it's going to be broadcast on. Fox, ABC. Well, they're all listed. It should be in the email. I couldn't remember them all. But 19 times regional. So, for basically $1,000 a show, you get to have your town aired. So if there's any questions or comments from the village board, there's nobody here from Communities of Distinction, but I'm sure that the attorney or myself can probably respond to most of your questions and your concerns. If not, we can still contact them. I'll be talking to them tomorrow after tonight's meeting, because they're going to be calling me to find out what our decision was. So, having said that, I'm going to yield the floor to the trustees, starting with Trustee Brown Marino for questions or comments.
Well, let me say first of all that I think I'm very glad to hear the board talk about promoting our village and not just waiting for people to discover Broadview and decide they want to come here, but to actually reach out and try and draw businesses in. I don't think that this is the way to do it, though, for a number of reasons. There was an article that I discovered online this afternoon. I saw references to it as I was researching the company and the project over the weekend. There was a small town in Oklahoma who has a production company as one of their businesses, and this article did a very good job of interviewing that gentleman and talking about some of the advantages and disadvantages. If we wanted to create a video about the village of Broadview, and incidentally, the fee for this is $19,800 for the production and the spots. If we wanted to create a video for the village of Broadview, I've got to say the Broadview First Party did an excellent job putting together a 30-minute video This would be a 5-minute video that this company would put together. You did an excellent job with the video talking about yourselves in Broadview, and according to what you reported to the State Board of Elections, it was about $800 for the videographer for that. As far as the time on cable TV shows, the time on cable shows is very inexpensive. Unless you want to get into ABC, NBC, CBS, primetime, that type of stuff is very, very expensive. But to put a little clip on in between TV shows isn't. To take a $20,000 budget and throw it all into the one video and this one presentation that goes out nationally, I don't think would be the best use of this money. I think that if we were to have a $20,000 budget and be able to put together some marketing material and really be able to do a good job with this and target where we want to have our message shown. When I went to the website for Communities of Distinction TV, they showed when their clips are shown. A lot of it is on Fox and Fox Sports and the Discovery Channel, and then they have some local channels, especially in the New York area and in parts of Canada. Terry Bradshaw doesn't narrate the entire show. There's a little clip of him, about 30, 45 seconds in the beginning, introducing the concept, and then it's all, just local people. And it's not very difficult to get old sports figures or, other folks to, that want to promote themselves. Secondly, on Friday, it just so happened, Terry Bradshaw was one of the guests on Jay Leno's show. And I watched it, and I normally wouldn't bother to watch Terry Bradshaw, but I wanted to see if he was going to be promoting this. And he promoted his Las Vegas show, and he promoted his Fox Network shows, never said a word about this. And I was disappointed because I thought maybe this is something that he's really pushing. We could do so much better in terms of promoting our village with billboards, especially we have an in with Image Media and Clear Channel, with billboards, with radio advertising, as well as having the material ready when someone does inquire about our village. But I think the other problem I see with doing this and with throwing $20,000 at this is when we get someone's attention, then what do they find with us? They go to a website that's way outdated, and we don't have our act together to start just throwing this kind of money out there in hopes that someone would say, yes, maybe I do want to come to Broadview. And then what do they see? We really should be spending more time getting our internal stuff together so that we can handle more development, so that we know how we're doing it. We don't have a plan for our village. The comprehensive plan was done in 2000, et cetera, et cetera. So I really think that this would be a mistake to do it this way with this program, like this. I attended almost all of the meetings that Trustee Benson was holding for economic development, and I think that we need a marketing plan, not just to come up with something like this and then throw it out there. The chances of having one of these spots be seen by the decision makers from a company that would be looking to relocate in the Midwest and may come to Broadview, it's a real shotgun approach. And the chances that we're going to get that person at 6 a.m. on the Discovery Channel, or in the commercial time between a football game or something like that, is not the best use of our resources with this. So I like the idea of starting to promote our village and do more to market our village, do more to draw businesses to Broadview, but we have to be ready when they do, and we can do a much better job than what I'm seeing with this. That's it.
Trustee Maria. Trustee North? No. Trustee McGreer? Okay, on the contrary of what Judy Brown Marina was just said, we need to be doing everything and anything we can do to promote our village. And this is just the start of many things that we have discussed and talked about. for $19,000 for them to come and do a production of the Village of Broadview so that we can promote and have the DVD ready-made to do as we please with it. Airtime on TV is expensive, and it's a little bit cheaper to get certain channels or certain time slots, yes, but anything we can do to bring attraction and attention for developers, potential businesses to Broadview is what we need to be doing. If we had $19,000 to spend and we attracted one business and it brought in $19,000 worth of tax revenue for the first year, it's paid for itself that quick. And I don't think this one production is going to be limited to one business coming to Broadview. It's going to attract a lot of attention. And to a point, yes, we do have to be prepared to be able to accept them and receive them and steer them in the right direction so that they can, strive to be a good business and bring us some tax revenue. But if we don't do anything but sit on our hands, we're not doing anything for the Village of Broadview. So this is an excellent start. I'm all for it.
Thank you, Trustee Baker. Trustee Turner? Trustee Benson?
Just that I actually agree with both trustees that spoke. I do agree with you, the marketing plan, but I also agree with Trustee McGreer's point that we do need to do something to bring in business. This is not just Trustee McGreer's point. I believe Joe Rada just gave us a long spiel on attracting businesses, and I'm sorry, I was just saying to your point as well, we need to do something to attract businesses here in Broadview. I agree with some of the stuff that you said as well, to Trustee LaRue's point as well.
Can I comment on this?
No, I'm sorry. Well, that I researched it also residential. I'm prepared to post. That completes my comment.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes, I do have a comment after obviously reading what they would be providing. This is not, some student, down in Columbia put together a video sideshow. I mean, if you think about this, this is an actual production company. So those people have experience, they're licensed, they know what they're doing, it's a script, okay? They're doing graphics, they're doing productions, there's lighting. I mean, you got Transformers filming down here in Chicago, and they're making it look like China. So you're talking a professional organization coming in here, and I think Broadview would be fortunate to go and have this done just for the marketing aspect. I mean, I think our community has a lot to offer to any corporation coming in. I mean, we sat here with Bosch, which is an international company. You have Mullins Foods, which has an exclusive contract to McDonald's. You have Renato Liquors. They have Olympic family members that grew up here in this community. I mean, who can speak about that and that these people stayed in the community? The Mullins brothers started their business in the basement. Look where they're at now. I mean, they stayed here, okay? And they put us on the map. I think this type of company is going to show nationally, and these airings are going to occur anytime from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. And you're talking, Fox Network. I mean, with the cable channels that are out there, with MSN, just go on your cable and you'll see how many MSNs and how many things are out there about companies and businesses. And I think this would be a good opportunity for Broadview to get involved with this. I mean, I think it's important. We're going to be able to see the final project. We'll be able to have copies of the videos. Again, to Joe Rayner, you have to give these people something coming in to say what's so special about Broadview. Okay? I mean, Chicago moved, what was it, Boeing? Boeing left where, Seattle? Was it in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken? Pardon me?
Well, they moved Boeing and they also moved somebody else to downtown from the suburbs.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you either got to be aggressive in this market. I mean, if anybody's worked in sales business, and I do, I'm in sales, so you have to be aggressive, and it has to be done in a New York minute. When you're talking to businesses that are here for money and want to be successful. So, I mean, this is an opportunity that you need to present for our village. And I'm very proud of my village, being a lifelong resident, and I'm proud to say that. Okay, and there's a few of us on here as board members, as well as some of our village employees that have been here from the get-go. I think it's a great idea, so that's my opinion.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, want to weigh in on the contract and all the other individuals therein?
Yeah, just generally speaking, I mean,
billboards?
Advertising is pretty expensive on television. This doesn't seem to be that out of whack, just based on my personal experience of looking at television. But this is a good point. Everyone brings up a good point, is that we negotiated in the billboard contract that we do get exposure, so we can reflect that on the Eisenhower at some point in time. And it is an excellent time to move forward with all the marketing techniques.
Everything you can do.
Yeah, and just talk to all the people that are big businesses and locally in our community. Plus, the fact that our TIF is still viable and there's a lot of opportunity to market that to developers and so forth. And perhaps you can get, like Trustee Brewer said, a couple of those. So you need to start somewhere, and you got to move forward. And this is you can't wait for us.
Well, what was the number you gave us, Go Joe? The number on the vacant square footage?
I'm sorry?
The vacant square feet, how many vacant square feet we have?
Yeah, $1.5 million.
Got 1.5 million vacant square feet in town?
Yeah, and Mr. Mayor, here's the thing. I can't tell you how many people I know around the metropolitan Chicago area. And I run into them and say, where are you officing now? I said, Broadview.
They don't even know where it is.
Where is Broadview?
Right.
You gotta start.
You stole my thunder,
They
Joe.
think it's Bridgeview.
You stole my thunder. Go ahead.
I mean, here's
Just a point of order if you want to go before you get
That's okay. Joe, have a seat, Joe. Thanks anyway. But my point is that Broadview's 2 square miles. It's a very small community relative to all the rest of the large municipalities that are out here, and most certainly relative to the large metropolitan areas like Chicago, LA, New York, Detroit, Cleveland, whatever. Whether we realize it or not, the village in and of itself is a business. The village of Broadview, what we do every day, this is a business meeting what we're in right now. And in all businesses, there is a marketing arm. In order for a business to stay viable and stay competitive in the market, we must have marketing. We don't have that in Broadview and haven't had it for years. They hired a marketing guy to the tune of $3,000 a month with no promises on what he was going to do. He did absolutely nothing. There was no accountability piece there. At least with this, you've got some tangible evidence of what you're spending money on. You'll be able to actually see it in print, and you'll be able to actually have a copy of the DVD to use at your leisure. A couple of things that I jotted down as I was listening to the comments. For $19,000, you're going to have a film crew that's going to fly in, they're going to do the video, they're going to edit the video, then they're going to fly out, they're going to put it in production in the studio when we get to approve all this stuff. That's not cheap. So there's an expense that's incurred, that they're going to incur to do this. Then you got to turn around and sell it to the television station. So that's another issue. But let me go a little bit further. Trustee Marino had the audacity to compare us to a small town in Oklahoma. I'm certain that small town in Oklahoma is not 15 miles from downtown city of Chicago. And for us to be 15 miles from downtown city of Chicago and people locally not knowing where Broadview is crazy. That's just absurd, but it's the truth. People know where Oak Park is and don't know that Broadview is only 2 miles, 3 miles to the west of it. They don't know that. And that's unfortunate, but it's the reality. It is what it is. So while we're close to a major metro, we're relatively obscure to a lot of people, and that's not a good thing. She compared our video to this television production that's out there. Our video was made on the cheap, with a guy with a camera that walked around. He edited this thing in his basement. And he doesn't have exposure to television markets. And, he's not going to have 19 times it's going to be aired to people that are outside of the city of Chicago. We talk about billboards and signage and everything else, but that limits your exposure to those people that are within the city boundaries or within the Chicago main area. It does not expose you to people in New York, Florida, California, Texas, or anywhere else where these TV shows would expose you to. Because you've got national companies out there that would probably love to come to a place like Broadview because of its location, because I'm sure they're going to highlight the location, because that's what I highlighted to them when they asked me about the town. I highlighted to them that we sit right at the crux there of everything. We're 15 minutes from downtown Chicago, we're 20 minutes from the airport, either airport as a matter of fact. We're right by the interstate to get to the highway. You can get to Indiana, Wisconsin, or Iowa within an hour and a half at the worst case scenario. So, all these things were highlighted, and that's my 2 cents. And the idea that we need to clean up what we're doing in-house first, as these people that we're trying to market to come to the village of Broadview would be potential homeowners, because we got a great police force and a great fire department, because our streets are clean. It's a safe community. Potential business owners for the same exact reasons. Plus, we've got a huge industrial park, and the location is excellent for what most businesses do, especially if they have trucks involved. Anything involved in some kind of transportation, we're the perfect fit for them. So there's a whole lot of pluses for the village of Broadview that must get exposed. And absent our exposure, we'll still have 1.5 million square feet of vacancies out here. Even commercial businesses, retail locations, they may want to do the same thing. And I'm just saying that to say this: if we sit idly by, because we're not trying to get these people to come work for the village of Broadview or be a business within the village corporate offices, so to speak, but within the town. If we sit idly by and keep doing what we've been doing, we'll keep getting what we've been getting, which is vacant properties, and that's not a good thing. So I'm a proponent to do something. And I don't think that $19,000, almost $20,000 is an unreasonable amount. If it airs 19 times, it's $1,000 per airing, plus the expense of the camera crews and all these people coming out here to shoot the footage and go around town for an entire day or two. So if they're here for a full 24-hour cycle or something, there's a lot to be said for that. I'm gonna get off my soapbox with that. I'm gonna turn it over to the board for their vote. And hopefully they'll vote in favor of this, and I certainly hope so, and I'm sure that a lot of people in the crowd probably do too. So thank you for your indulgence and my response to all this stuff. Mr. Walters?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Turner?
Yes.
Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
No, and Hennessy, Oklahoma is about 20 miles outside of Oklahoma City.
Which is nowhere near Chicago. Thank you very much. And that carries 5-1.
Item J, consideration of an ordinance authorizing and approving the purchase of certain personal property for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second. Probably motion by trustee Morris, probably second by trustee McGreer. Questions or comments from the members of the board, starting with trustee Marino?
Nope.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Turner?
No comment.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, that motion carries unanimously.
K, consideration of an ordinance authorizing and approving the purchase of certain personal property for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by trustee Turner, and probably second by trustee McGreer. Questions or comments from the members of the board, starting with trustee Marino?
Nope.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
Just FYI, this item K is the equipment to outfit the 2 vehicles listed in item J. That's it.
Okay. Trustee Turner?
No comment.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, that motion carries unanimously as well.
Item L, consideration of an ordinance authorizing and approving the purchase of certain personal property for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second. Probably motion by trustee Morris, probably second by trustee Turner. Questions or comments from the members of the board? Trustee Marino?
Nope.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
Again, item L is a high-tech camera kit that's going to be utilized to install on one of the 2 vehicles mentioned in item J.
Trustee Turner?
No.
Trustee Benson? And trustee Abraham?
None.
All approved? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, that motion carries unanimously as well.
Item M, consideration of an ordinance authorizing and approving a development agreement by and between the village of Broadview and Equity LLC, Series 9/16/17 Roosevelt Road for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to table to next board meeting.
Second.
The motion is tabled by trustee McGreer, second by trustee Turner. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, this item will be tabled to the next board meeting.
N, consideration of an ordinance authorizing the conveyance and certain real property located within the village of Broadview for the village of Broadview, county of Cook, state of Illinois.
Again, motion to table, item N.
Second.
Probably motion by trustee McGrill, probably second by trustee Abraham.
And that's the next board.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Items M and N are correlated, people, just in case you're looking at your agenda. Mr. Clerk?
Item O, consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 5 traffic schedules of Title 7 Motor Vehicle and Traffic, Sections 3 one-way streets and alleys to reflect a change in a certain traffic pattern for the village of Broadview, county of Cook, state of Illinois.
Motion to approve. You will table it?
Yes, sir. This also has to do with M&N. Correct, Mr. Attorney?
Yep. Yeah, all of this is involving the agreement with Beckley.
So can I make the motion to table until the next board meeting, please?
Yeah, trustee Morris,
Morris wanted to approve. He can withdraw.
I'm gonna withdraw that motion.
Okay. And then my motion is to table it to next.
Second.
Okay, the motion by McGrill and second by Turner to table this agenda item O to the next board meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that agenda item will be tabled to the next board meeting.
Next item on the agenda, application for the authority to expend funds. Roche Ford, $34,067.72.
Motion to approve.
I second.
But let's go on, let it finish all of these are the police department.
Yeah.
I think all three of them
They
are
are.
the
These
police.
have to do with JP and L, right?
Out of truck road, $16,832. CDS Office Technology, $6,006.
Okay. This is your first. You want to give your motion again, sir?
We motion to approve it.
Then I second.
Okay, motion by Morris and second by trustee McGrill. All of these purchases are related to some items we just passed earlier. Who's got it? You got it? Woody, you want to tell them what these three items are? Or would you like the chief to explain? The chief will explain.
Go ahead.
Chief? Deputy? Which one of you guys got?
The deputy's gonna, he put it all together.
He put it all together?
Which item we addressing?
All three.
You're going to do each one of the three?
The first one for Roche Ford for $34,67.72 is to purchase one vehicle for our detective division. It's a 2013 Ford Explorer we're going to use in the detective division. Right now we have a 2004 Taurus, which has seen better days. It's got about 90,000 miles. The same thing with the 04 Impala. So we're going to take one of those vehicles, use it for another purpose with the department, and have that Ford Explorer as a new vehicle for our detective division, so it's more reliable to respond to crime scenes with, more reliable for our on-call detective also. The other remaining, that's for $25,100. The other $8,900 or so is going to be the first year payment on another Ford Explorer for the police department, which is going to be a March unit, and that's going to be on a finance program. Our budget doesn't allow us at this point to purchase two vehicles, which we need right now, so we thought it was fiscally responsible and it made sense for us to lease a vehicle over a 3-year period of time. So instead of us paying the $25,000 change for the vehicle up front, we're going to lease that vehicle over 3 years, with 3 payments of about $8,900. It's in the packet that everybody should have there. And there's also a $1 buyout for the vehicle at the end, so we can buy the vehicle at the end of 3 years. The second item on there, is there any questions about the vehicle that I can answer? Second item from Auto Truck Group is to outfit both of those vehicles. The detective unit needs interior lights and sirens and things like that. That needs for that vehicle. It includes the equipment for that and the labor and the remaining balance of that of about $11,000 is for the March unit, which includes all the lights and sirens for the vehicle and the other equipment that's needed for that marking and things like that. CDS Office Technologies is for the purchase of a in-car video camera, which the department sees as a necessity that all our cars, we believe, should have some kind of video
camera system. The one that we decided to purchase is one that most departments in the area are using. It's reliable. It's a wireless system which allows us to download the video from those cameras directly to a server here in the station. That's the third item for CPS Technologies.
And if I could just add, all these items are supported in our current budget, in various line items.
Okay, while we got you guys there, I'm sure we may have some questions from members of the board. We're going to start with Trustee Marino. Just stand there at that attention, fellas. Trustee Marino?
My only question, is the motion for all three items, or are we taking them separately?
I would like to.
For all three together? Okay, that was my only question.
Yeah, all three. If they were all related. Otherwise, if somebody had a problem with it, then we could separate them out. Trustee Moore?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
Thank you for your thorough explanation.
Trustee Turner?
No comments.
Trustee Benson?
No.
Trustee Abraham?
I want to thank the chief again for checking, making sure it was all within the budget, and stick with John and Jan. So I'm glad they're able to get this equipment.
My only comment is how much you guys need to spend on this? You spend ours or yours? What point are you guys kicking in? We want to spend our money. So some of the money belongs to you guys that we can't touch, so you guys know it.
What's all done for good purpose, you know that.
Just so you guys know, it's a running joke between me and the chief because their seizure funds are limited to being spent on police-related items. We don't get to use them for village purposes. So when they do get that extra money, so you'll see different things that'll come up that they will have purchased from seizure funds that they've garnered through arrest and seizure. So thank you guys for your presentation. Appreciate you for what you do.
Thank you.
Mr. Walters, Mr. Clerk, I'll entertain the roll call vote on this.
Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Benson.
Yes.
Trustee Turner.
Yes.
Trustee McGreer.
Yes.
Trustee Moore.
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino.
Yes.
And that motion carries unanimously as well. And you guys can go on to your candy store. Have a good day.
Item 9, committee reports. Water, Drain, and Health, Trustee Brown Marino.
No report.
Thank you, Trustee Marino. Mr. Clerk?
Next report, Fire, Police, and Civil Service, Trustee Moore.
Just a quick thing. I went to the open house that the firehouse had over the weekend, which was great. I thought I saw something that was real interesting. They had a mobile house out there that they can actually set on fire and let kids be in there with smoke that wouldn't choke them but show them exactly what to do. I thought that was real neat. Say they borrowed that from Westchester. I thought that was real neat. And I saw, people came out and it looked like a few people gave blood too. So that was nice. So, that's my report.
Thank you, Trustee Moore.
Street, sidewalks, and alleys, Trustee McGreer.
Thank you. Good evening, residents, board, Mr. Mayor. I too was at the open house over the weekend at the fire department and thought it was a good thing. Piggybacking off of what Trustee Morris said, a lot of participation. Kids were enjoying the fires and the activities as far as flipping out, taught them a lot. I was hoping Captain Holy would be here tonight to talk about the Explorer program. It was. I missed that part at the beginning of it? Yeah. I'm glad he talked about it because I'm looking forward to that as well. So, about Public Works now. Public Works is coming to the end of the season for tree planting and sidewalk restoration. We covered quite a lot of ground this year in certain areas of Broadview. We're now picking up the season with the leaf bag pickup. Leaf bags we're beginning to be given out today at Public Works, and we'll continue that until all bags have been exhausted. Preparing for the snow season, and that includes preparing our vehicles, preparing our equipment, blades, et cetera, so we can have another successful snow removal season as we did last year. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Trustee McGregor. Mr. Clerk?
Building and Public Property, Trustee Turner.
Good evening, everybody. I was also at the fire department, and I concur with my
previous with trustee McGreer and Morris. We had a good time. And I did donate blood. I didn't like it, but I donated. And this Friday, I have a dinner with the firefighters. So I'm looking forward to that. That's all.
Thank you, trustee Turner.
Business Committee, trustee Benson.
Evening, everyone. Real quick, O'Reilly Auto Parts, they said that you could apply for positions at the Broadview location. Just go on to their o'ReillyAutoParts.com and select the Broadview branch, and you can apply for whatever positions that they have still available. Real quick, I got a non-for-profit business. One of our Broadview residents opened up. They opened up what's called the Willis House of Refuge, where they take in people that are destitute, that need places. So I just thought, I wanted them to come out, but they weren't able. So if any of you are more interested in volunteering for this Willis House of Refuge and helping them out, please do see me after the meeting. We have an announcement, I believe, about IDOT. I gotta find my email, but I can't have more than one email up at once. IDOT has a training program that's going on where they're, I guess, going to be hiring. If you all need to know anything about this training program, it's, you just gotta have, it looks like here, a diploma. The training program goes for about 8 weeks. And then they try and place you into a job. You just gotta be a resident of Cook, DuPage, Kane, McHenry, Lake, or Wood County. Pass a few tests. So if you want to know more about that program, let me know, because I can try and print this down. And then there's also a highway construction training program. And this will be starting early next year, January 6th. It will be going for 11 weeks. You need for this a college degree or high school diploma or GED. More information about this, I can try and print this down as well. And I think that is all I wanted to mention, those 3 things. All right, that'll complete my report.
Thank you, trustee Benson.
Finance Committee, trustee Abraham.
Evening, residents. I have a few items. One, the Board of Trustees has received documentation from Jan Baptist, our finance director, that our audit report is nearing completion and is not finalized as of yet. Also, I want to thank the residents that brought it to our attention regarding the budget being on our website. We do have, obviously, the PDF, and obviously now I heard today that you would like the video presentation, so we'll do our best to get that up there for you as well. Obviously, we want to make sure we're showing our transparency with our budget. We have individuals that worked very hard preparing it. And again, as you heard me speak earlier regarding Jan Baptist and Tom Wood's experience and expertise in municipal finances, again, they prepared documents to us and they gave it to us in a timely manner. So again, I appreciate their efforts in that office and making sure things run smoothly and getting information to the trustees. I did speak with Tom and Jan, and what I'll be doing is having quarterly reviews with them on the budget, just to see where we're at, how we're progressing, because obviously to pull in the different department heads, to start preparing things, you want to start moving again in a timely fashion, so that these guys are doing their job. They do an excellent job. I mean, you know, Tom and Jan, you can hear they're very versed in what they do with municipal finances, and I'm very proud to be working with them. I'm glad they're here in the village, working on our behalf. And again, they're experts in this field, and I really appreciate it, residents. They're doing a great job. That's in my report.
Thank you, trustee Abraham.
Item 10, village clerk, then no report. 11, village president.
Most of the things that I wanted to talk about have already been covered, including the budget by the finance chair here. But most importantly, I just want to thank you all for your indulgence with us this evening, because I know we stayed here until after 9:30 tonight. And to you, Mr. Rayner, I'm going to take it under advisement to have a discussion with the building department and the attorney about a window of operation to allow businesses to actually operate until the license is actually approved in front of the board, because we don't always get all the paperwork within a timely manner. And I understand it, I get that. So we're going to work on that one. And I'll talk to the particulars about that. But that's it, and hopefully you guys have a safe travel home and a good week ahead. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
What about the executive session?
We got an executive session?
So I will make the motion to adjourn the regular board meeting and go to executive.
Suspend the regular board meeting, go to executive session.
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, we're gonna go on to executive session. Chief Gardner. She just had me a note. I want to know about the mortgage check. You know what happened? The old guy lives across the street from the great old. Oh, okay. He's the house next to the apartment. He's the house just to the south. So you got the house on the corner, you got another house. So you got two more houses, then you got a Williams house, then you got the apartment building, and then you got Manhattan. He's about 5 I'm in the last 2 board meetings. I've been catching up on like 18 days worth of minutes. And I probably haven't gotten any email, but I had about 400 of them. It's probably in the middle. Like I said, I was in hospital for 16 days. I just got out. But just catch up with me. I'm here in almost every week. We have to work every time. So just contact me here in the village hall during the course of the day. Just call around and get on the phone. And remind me so that I'll pull your stuff out and find out. Okay. I'll apologize for that. I'll incapacitate you. Yeah, no, I had a blood clot. It was straight internal bleeding. And they had to dissolve it. She understands. is to try to give us off the rail and get us on the rail to be chewed up. That's yeah, I know. Porter Hay. Oh, it's not Chico. Not being Chico. Hey. I need to go brush up on my Spanish so I can really have a conversation I got somebody trying to get license, they can do it yeah, we did that unbelievable. Well, all right. We'll see you later. How you doing, Utah? Don't worry about it. What does that mean? Wow, we lose cold That's unfortunate what happened to Tom. You don't know what happened. Did they say he got part of
Did it come through? Okay?
Let me get in here to the executive session, see if they want. It's good to see you.
You ready, Mayor? Ready. Joe, I'm gonna talk to you. Get it together. Side by side.
Hey, Joe. You know I stopped by your office at that meeting. But I'll be down here to talk. Okay.
All right, sounds good. All right, slow down, Joe.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Well, in the following year, every December, all tax credits have to pay a levy, and they ask for $7,000 in the tax for 11 years. They ask for like about $2,000, almost no increase at all. They ask for $700,000. It wasn't enough for the electricity, the heat bill. They didn't budget enough money to cover their stuff, to operate. So they built everything very well. Oh, I just wanted to go. Now, what do you want me out there? No, in fact, I stepped out talking to a woman with and kind of, so what I'm saying, the ordinance was
That's the total.
Let me answer this. I'm just curious. There's that money, most places.
Hey, so I'm gonna take some time off tomorrow.
Okay. You know what? You don't want to take time off. That's right. Time off like Friday.
Yes, I do.
But I said, it's not going to be a problem because I got to get you back. So you're going to be doing the argument. This is for specific. Okay, I'm curious about that. No. We got a meeting tomorrow.
Let's do that fucking meeting.
And then it's him on very well.
Let me get into the
All right, so you don't want
No, just how much.
Oh, okay. What's your thing? Well, I got a year and a half to think about it.
There you go.
We're talking about you. They're talking about you.
Always look cute when they're giving out awards on the
That's right. Or when we want money. We want money.
There you go.
Dave was in here?
No.
No. Top hoods.